Hello, and welcome to Counselor Feature Friday. I'm your host, Brian Urban. In these features, we hope to give you some simple tips, tidbits, and tricks to make your days easier and your patients happier. In today's feature, we're going to talk about lead tracking. That is a feature in Counselor that enables you to track potential patients, right? These are individuals that have shown some interest in your services, but have not yet moved forward to the point of really being considered an official patient within your database. So first, we're going to talk about how you can enter the information and, of course, how it can be tracked thereafter. So first, we'll click here on Patients in the top menu bar, and then we'll click on New Lead. This is an area where you can enter obviously some very basic information. All it's required is the clinic, the potential patient's name, the lead's name, as well as the current status, right? That's all it's required at this point. Of course, there's the opportunity to enter more as well. So let's go ahead and just add some basic info here. Let's get first name. We'll leave this as received because once again, this could be a community presentation, virtual or in person. This could be a patient calling in with just some general questions, but isn't ready to move forward at this time. A lead that you gather from your website or from Facebook, right? There's different ways that leads can be pulled or manually entered into Counselor. Thereafter, we'll be able to update the status, and I'll show you that as well. But here, let's just go ahead and enter a quick email address. Okay. Once again, this is not required, but highly recommended for you to get as much as you can, obviously. So we're going to go ahead and just enter some basic information here. All right, there we go. And then as far as the lead source for this one, I'm just going to say maybe we did a virtual tinnitus presentation or something, right? So we did a community presentation. Okay. And then for the referral type, once again, this is not required, but good for tracking. We'll say this is a community presentation. We get any additional notes, and then I'll go ahead and click Save. Now what we're going to see is that a series of options pop up, largely to help us make sure that we're not duplicating patients. So for example, here, if I want to see if there are any other John Arthurs in the system, I certainly can, right? And actually there is. So I can investigate whether in fact this is the same John Arthur. Okay, maybe check the phone number, for example. So here I could take a peek at the phone number. Now in this case, with that general phone number, it comes with a lot of results, right? So not the best example here. But the idea would be is that you would know right away, oh, hey, that is actually the same John Arthur, right? So I can go ahead and actually select that profile and put this, what I thought was a lead, I can connect it with an existing patient. So you're not running the risk of having duplicates. And once again, you can search that out on their name, on their email address, as well as on their phone number. Okay, now if you do know at this time that this is a new patient, of course, you could go ahead, you could use the quick add feature. Now, most commonly, this is used at a later point, right? So we've collected the lead now, we're going to follow up with a patient at some point, likely pretty soon, and then ideally at that time, we're able to do the quick add. So for right now, let's just jump back to the marketing leads. Okay, I access that by just clicking back to the marketing leads. You also can access this screen by clicking on View Leads. Okay, and that's going to let you see all the leads. You can sort them by clinic. You obviously can filter as well by a wide variety of criteria. So for example, here, this last one, the status, you notice that some of these are set as received, right? They just came in. Now this patient, in fact, actually became a new patient. So there'd be nothing to do for this lead because it's been converted. Or this one's been contacted. So point being is you could filter by this and just say, hey, I want to follow up on all the patients we've already contacted or ones that have just been received. So you can have different processes depending on where that lead is in your overall process. Okay. You also can, of course, download the spreadsheet if you want to review it there as well. And of course, launch a new lead from here as well. Okay, so once again, the idea here is that you can monitor your leads very easily. You could jump back in. Let's go ahead and take John here. And let's say that we want to convert John to a patient. So we determine he is distinct from the John Arthur that's already in the system, and we want to go ahead and create a new lead. So or a new patient, I'm sorry. So we're going to bring up his profile. At this point, this is generally speaking like when you're getting ready to schedule an appointment. So this is where you can start to gather a little bit more information. So I'm just going to grab his date of birth. There we go. Now in this case, we already got quite a bit at the time when the lead was received, and so we don't have to fill this in. But let's say it was a Facebook ad where you didn't collect all this information, then you may be collecting it at this time. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and save this, and what it's going to do is it's going to create, and you can see this little note at the top here, the lead has been created as a patient. So now I can click here on the edit, or the view patient button I should say, and that will take me directly to John Arthur's newly created profile. So if I was on the phone with John and he said, yes, I do want to schedule an appointment, of course I could jump to the schedule from here. I could launch a new appointment from within his profile. In this case, it would be advisable to do that because there are two John Arthurs. So that way I know specifically I'm scheduling for this John Arthur. Right, and I also may ask him for a middle initial just because there are the same names. So point being is the lead tracking is designed to get the information in place quickly, enable you to manage it easily, and then convert those leads into new patients. Okay. Very briefly on the way the information gets in. Of course, I showed you how you can enter this manually. There is also the ability to have leads fed in from other sources. I mentioned Facebook. Counselor has a whole series called webhooks, which you likely would want to talk with your web developer about this. It's something they're very familiar with, and Counselor can provide you with the documentation to enable your web developer to connect up your Facebook lead ads with Counselor and potentially other sources as well, so those leads can flow directly into Counselor. All right. Of course, if you have any questions about this, please let us know. Give us a call, email us, live chat us. We are always happy to help. And once again, thank you so much for joining us for Counselor Feature Friday. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and be well.